Jesus here lying, and what do we see around him? What is he wrapped in? Yes. Well, we see the animals there. We're going to talk about them too. But what is Jesus wrapped in? In the Bible, they're called swaddling clothes. What are the swaddling clothes? Today, when a baby is born, what do we put on the babies? You get towel? Yes. You get blankets. You get pampers. You get diapers. Well, guess what? There was no pampers. There was no diapers at the time. So we had to find whatever was available. So she found rags, whatever she could, to wrap baby Jesus in, because it was very poor, remember. So we see him wrapped in the swaddling clothes, almost wrapped like a mummy. So again, for those thinking ahead of what's going to happen, we see a prototype of Jesus as the one who's born to leave this world in death on the cross. So we see him almost wrapped like a mummy here. And we see his initials here, Jesus Christos. He always identifies who the persons in the icons are. Here are the initials for the Virgin Mary. Nitri Ferou, in Greek. What does that mean? It means the Mother of God. That's the theological title that the Church gives to the Virgin Mary. And this title was given at a very special council, the Third Ecumenical Council that took place in the year 431 in Ephesus, when there was a debate about, do we call the Virgin Mary the Mother of Christ, Christotokos, or do we call her the Mother of God, Theotokos? So the Church decided that we need to call her Theotokos because the person she gave birth to is Theotokos, or God is man. So there's a theological title that the Church gives for our Lord. We mentioned the animals here. Which animals were in the barn, or in the cave there? An ox and a donkey. Why do you think they're there? What was their role in the Christmas story? Yes? Why do you think they're there? Look where they are. They're right over the body of Jesus here. Why? Because with the breath, they were warming up. Remember, caves are cold. There's no sun to warm it. So caves, when you go into a cave, it's very cold. So baby Jesus, baby warm. What do you think he had to warm? It was from the animals. They were right there, right around him, and they were breathing upon him. And there's a prophecy in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is the Bible of our church, written before Christ. It speaks about the coming of Christ. It speaks about what is going to happen. And there's a prophecy there that says that the ox and the donkey shall know their master. And so this prophecy comes to true with the story of the birth of Christ. We have a lot of figures at the top. Who are they? What can we see? Yes. The angels. Who are the angels? Remember in Sunday school we talked about the angels just a few weeks ago because we celebrated the feast of the angels on November the 8th. And we know two of the special angels especially. What are the names? How many of you are named after angels here? What are their names? Help me out.
Michael and Gabriel.
Come on. Michael, Gabriel. A letter lesser one is Raphael. But anything that ends in L in the Hebrew language, that means of God. So all the angels are of God because they serve God. In the prayers of our church and the liturgy, we talk about the angels always because they're always around us. They're in every church that we go to. We can't see them, but I've spoken to people that have seen them. So you have to be very, very special to be able to notice the angels that are around us, that pray. But there's a special prayer that the priest says before he comes out with the Ecclesiastes, or the Gospel. He says, grant that the holy angels may enter with us, that we may serve and glorify your goodness. So we always remember the angels that are in liturgy. And we said, what did we say 2 weeks ago? All of us have our guardian angels. We're all assigned an angel. When do we get our angels? A+, when you were baptized. So when you're baptized, the priest prayed that you all get a guardian angel to help you. And this guardian is going to be with you all of your life, and even beyond, to present you to our Lord when the time comes. But here we see the angels and the ranks of angels. What are they singing? What were they singing? And the shepherds in the fields heard them. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill. We glorify God. That's what the angels do, by the way. They glorify God non-stop. And when we come to church and we worship God, we imitate them. This is our role. This is what we're called to do. We're called to imitate the angels in worship. And by the way, since we have Orthodox like here and the nuns, they're also called earthly angels because they also imitate the angels in praying to God. So these angels are here all about. And remember that the shepherds were out in the fields with the flocks. And you can imagine now, in the middle of the night, they're hearing these beautiful angelic voices saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill unto all men." So, whenever we have Christ in our hearts, in our minds, we have peace. Because Christ is the peace that all of us. And we've also said, remember, at every liturgia, what is it the priest gives you? When the priest signs you with the sign of the cross, he's saying, "Ini pasi." Well, what is the meaning? It means that you have the peace of Christ in your life. And that's when you respond back, and also to you, and to your spirit. So we see all the angels here, speaking to these shepherds. Where are the shepherds here? The icon. Look at the right here. We can see a shepherd boy here playing his little flute. We can see all the sheep that are around there, and the guard dog that's guarding the sheep. So it's another small picture of the story. Who's here? We forgot very important people. Who are they? Yes. The three wise men. So we have three wise men on their horses coming to give special honor and worship to baby Jesus. And they're carrying gifts. What are the gifts that the wise men brought to Jesus? And they all have a special meaning, by the way. What are the gifts? First gift. Let me know. Help them up. Yes. Three gifts. Gold, number 1. 2. Frankincense, 3. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What's myrrh, guys? You know what myrrh is? You know what frankincense is? Gold, that's easy. So, who do we give gold to? They all have symbolic meanings. Why do we give gold to Jesus? What is he going to do with gold? He was born in poverty. Does he need gold? We give gold to a king. Because what do you give a king? He's got everything. So the first meaning is that Jesus is the King of kings, the Lord of lords. The prophecy from the Old Testament. So we give gold to Jesus because he's the King. Alright, so now here's the other hint. Frankincense. What is frankincense? Frankincense, the last part of the word is incense. And that's the English translation for the Greek word livani. How many of you know what livani is? Maybe your moms and your yayavas at home, they burn the special livani, but for sure you smell the livani when you come to church, because we use lots of it. And because it's sweet smelling, and it's meant, in fact, to give us the atmosphere of prayer. When you enter the church, what's the first thing you sense? Remember, Orthodox worship appeals to our 5 senses, to our sight. We see all the icons, we see the beauty of the Iaro, we see the beauty of how the church services are conducted. So that's the sense of sight. The sense of what we hear. We hear the beautiful chants, we hear the choirs, we hear the canons, we hear the priests, we hear the sermons. We touch. What do we touch? With our hand. We also touch the icons. When we go up and go across and venerate them. Taste. What do we taste when we come to church? Above all, we taste, of course, Holy Communion when we come. When we receive the Lord himself that wants to unite himself with us. And that's the whole meaning of why we come to communion. So we get to be united with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who comes into the world as a gift for all of us. So that's taste. What else? Smell. We smell the incense when we come to church to remind us we're in the house of God. Because from the Old Testament, from the temple of God, incense was used. So, why is frankincense offered to Jesus? Because he's the high priest. The high priest. The high priest that comes and serves and sacrifices himself for all of us. So we got the gold that we give to the king. We have the incense we give to the priest. What's the last one? The myrrh. That's the more harder one. The myrrh that we use to anoint those who are departed. And so we give him more because one day we know, with that feeling that one day he will also die, that he's a human being, that will also, in fact, be called by the Lord to call us back up to heaven as well. So those are the three symbolisms of the three gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So the kings, where did they come from? They came from the east. We're not sure. But they are the astrologers, and they're following the star. Where's the star up here? Here's the star at the top, and you see that it's shining right down over baby Jesus right here. Okay? So we're almost finished here with the Christmas collage. Who else do we see down here? Here's the Virgin Mary. She's the mother of the Lord, the Theotokos. Who is this? Yes. That's Joseph. Very good. So Joseph is here in the corner. When you see Joseph looks very sad. He was very pensive. He was wondering, what just happened? What's going on? Because remember, Joseph was called to be the protector of the Virgin Mary. He's not the father of Jesus, because the father of Jesus is God the Father. But he's wondering just what happened. You have another figure right here. And he's also important to talk about. Who is this, do you think? This is the evil one, the devil that comes to put doubts in the mind of Joseph. And he represents all the people throughout history that have doubted that Jesus was born of the Virgin Mary. And so he's there trying to get Joseph to say, Joseph, do you believe what just happened? Do you actually believe that this is the Son of God? Something else happened. So he's trying to put, in fact, doubts in the mind of Joseph. That's why it looks so sad. But Joseph, of course, as we don't believe, that he protected the Holy Family. In fact, he protected them by taking them to Egypt when they sought to destroy Jesus. Because as the King of Kings, Herod the king had heard there was another king. You can't have two kings in a kingdom. You only have one king. And when Herod found out that another King of Kings was born, he wanted to destroy him. And so, a few days after Christmas, we remember the Holy Innocents. Remember, the first blood was spilled right after the birth of Christ, when Herod, out of anger, wanted to destroy all the children that were less than 2 years old in Palestine, in the Holy Land. And the tradition states that 14,000 young children were slaughtered because of that. So remember, we call them the Holy Innocents. And we remember them 2 days after Christmas as well. Okay? So finally, the last part of the story. What's happening here? What's going on here? Those of you who are close, tell us. What's here? So we see baby Jesus here, and he's about to get a bath. Why is this important? Because they wanted to show that Jesus was truly a human being who was born in the same way that all of us were born, in very similar circumstances. And any baby that is born, we need to wash him and get them ready as well. So we see the people assisting here and putting water into the bath, but also a foreshadowing of another event that's going to happen. What's going to happen with water? Look at the second here. Next. Yep. So it's a foreshadowing of the baptism that is to come. Remember that in our church we celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. How many have heard the Christmas carol? You know, when I was growing up and your parents were growing up, we went to school, we used to hear Christmas carols. And they were religious, believe it or not. We could talk about Jesus, we could talk about Christ, we could talk about these themes, these beautiful Christmas carols of the past. Well, no more. So instead of Christmas trees, now we have holiday trees. Instead of Christmas carols, we have holiday carols. So the only time you're going to hear about the real meaning of Christmas is going to be in your homes with your parents, who should be your first teachers when it comes to religion, and of course in church we can speak freely about Jesus and the meaning of Christmas. So the 12 days of Christmas, how do we count them? Day 1 is Christmas Day on December 25th. And if you count 12 days ahead, where do we get to? Who's good at math? What is the 12th day? Thank you. January 6th. January 6th is the 12th day of Christmas. And what day we celebrate in our church? The idea of Theophany. Or Theophany. So these are two poles of the same feast. Remember, in the early church. How are we doing on time? We're almost done. All right. Yeah, we just finished very briefly because we're almost out of time. Day 1, we begin with Jesus that comes as a baby child. Day 12, we present Jesus as the adult now that comes to begin his ministry. Remember, Jesus' ministry was only 3 years in the world, from age 30 until 33 when he was crucified. So here he's the adult, he gets baptized in the waters. Did Jesus need to get baptized? Did he have any sins to be forgiven? No. Jesus is baptized for us because he represents all of us, going into the waters to wash away all the sins of us and all humanity. So he again is representative of all of us when he goes into the fire. Who baptizes him? Who's this? There must be here somebody named Johannes, John the Baptist, eh? So he's the one that baptizes Jesus here. He's the last prophet of the Old Testament. What does a prophet do? A prophet tells us about what is to come, about the future. So the last prophet of the Old Testament is John the Baptist. And he's the greatest prophet. Why? Not only did he prophesy about the one who's going to come, who is Jesus, but he also gets to baptize him. That's why he's the greatest of all the prophets. And with John the Baptist, the prophets close in the Old Testament, and the Old Testament closes. And then we begin the New Testament with the life of Jesus. So here, Jesus is baptized, he goes into the wilderness for 40 days and he fasts. He prepares himself for his ministry that is to come. So these are the 2 great events that we celebrate. Now, within those 12 days, there's also smaller feast days. New Year's Day is a civic feast, but in our Greek tradition, it's the feast day of who? Which is the saint we celebrate on January 1st. We must have some people here named after him. Who's named Vasilios or Vasiliki? Your hands up. It's your name there, January 1st. It's the feast day of Saint Vasilios, Saint Basil the Great. And interesting, there's different saints who brings gifts on different days. In the Russian tradition, they also have the same saints we have. For them, it's Saint Nicholas that brings the gifts on January the 6th, on the feast day of Saint Nicholas. For the Greeks, who brings the gifts for us?
Vasilius.
Ius Vasilius. That's on January 1st. So the old days in Greece, you will get your gifts not on Christmas Day, but on January 1st, feast day of Saint Basil. So I'm going to take only about 2 or 3 questions, and that'll be about my spiel here. So who's got a question? What do you think? Any questions? Yes?
I'm riding on my floor.
Very good question, very theological. Well, we're going to discuss that at the Easter retreat.
I'm riding
But
on my horse.
the question was, why did Jesus have to die? Because he had to destroy, he had to heal death. That's the question. So death does not become a finality, it's not the end. But it's definitely the end to life forevermore. So now he transforms that with his own death. That's a really deep theological question. That's what we're going to discuss at the Easter retreat. A good question. Anybody else? Yes? Your birthday was on January 6th, so you had to celebrate when the church was feasting the Theophany. That's special. Very good. Yes? Yes? Why is he playing the flute? Because shepherds get bored. You know, they can only watch their sheep for a while, but then the sheep, you know, when they go feed, they've got something to do. So that's why you see a lot of shepherds playing their flutes. And the sheep like to listen to music. Last question. Yes? Why did Jesus have a short life? Very good question. In terms of life on this world, yeah, he had a short life. He was only here 33 years. But he lives forever and ever and ever. So Jesus is eternal because he's also God. So another very good theological question as well. So Jesus is also a human being like us, but his life here on earth came to an end when he was 33. But we know he's in heaven, very much alive, listens to all our prayers. That's when we say our prayers to him. And guess what? Anytime you want Jesus in your life, you can have him. Anytime you come out for communion, what do? We said we want to invite Jesus into our lives. And every time we take communion, we put him where? In our hearts and our souls. That's why we have to become the majors during this month of December. We have to prepare ourselves to let Jesus be born in each and every one of our souls and our hearts. That's the whole meaning of Christmas. If you have Jesus living in you, you celebrate Christmas. And one last thing. Remember that we're very fortunate. We all are blessed. We have blessings that we receive from God, that we receive from our parents. We are very fortunate to get a lot of gifts during Christmas. Why do we get gifts? Because Jesus got gifts from the three wise men. But I want you to remember that there are children out there that don't have what we have. There are a lot of children out there that don't have the blessings to have parents to be able to provide for them these gifts. And I want you to think of those children as well. And if there's something that you can do for them, in all of our churches, I'm pretty sure we have some fundraising campaigns to help the less fortunate. So part of the Christmas story as well, to think about the less fortunate, to help them to have a good Christmas, and a joyous Christmas, like all of us have. So I wish all of you a very blessed and joyous Christmas. It's such a joy to see you and so many numbers. I'm going to thank again all the teachers, the parents, community coming up as well. So Helen, you're going to take over the program. Please,